Hi guys, today we're going to be making some ornament journal covers. In another video I'll be finishing up the journals, but today we're just focusing on the journal covers. So I'm making some ornament journals for a craft fair, a Christmas craft fair that I'm going to be part of soon. So I think ornament journals is a good way to get people coming over and taking a look at my journals. And these covers are going to be made out of things that you probably already have. So like some leftover, like the end of a spool of ribbon, some random ribbons, some Christmas cards, some Christmas cardstock paper, and the base of it's going to be from this cereal box. So first you just take apart your cereal box, just get all of the glue seams apart, and then think about how big you want them to be. So I'm making mine from a piece of cardboard that is 4 by 6. So what you do is you just get your paper cutter. First, I just trim everything up so that it's easy. Get rid of all of those edge parts. So you can either pick a size based on just what aesthetically you want to do, because you want to, if you're making a whole bunch of them for a craft fair, you want to keep them all the same size. So when you're making all of the different parts, you can keep everything consistent and everything will fit together. So now I'm just cutting out all the excess still, cutting out all the extra pieces of cardboard. So like I said, the ones that I've made already, I make them 4 by 6, so you just line it up with the 6. So now I have one that's 6 wide, and then I want them to be 4 tall, so I line it up with the 4 here. Cut, and cut. Don't worry about what is on the cardboard, because we are going to cover that up with with either paint or like all the stuff that you have, like all of the ribbons and stuff that you have. Okay, then after you get your 4 by 6 pieces, you take it over to your scorer to make the spine. Isn't this cute? It says abuela on it. My mom got that. She's an abuela, so I think she got excited to see that. She's actually a Lola, but it all means the same thing. The front is going to be, like the end size of the journal is going to be 4 by 2.75, 2 3/4 of an inch. The spine is going to be 1/2 inch. So if you do a 4 by 6, it'll be perfect. So I'm making 42, so I cut a bunch of those. And I've already scored these to make the spine, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you get your scoreboard, you line up your piece with the corner here. Then, like I said, it's going to be 2 3/4 wide. So the way that I think of it is like half of this whole thing is 3. So you don't want to put a line there. You want to put it on either side. So if you want a smaller one, you can do it 2 7/8 and 3 1/8. And that'll be like a really tiny one. If you want a really thick, you can do it at 2 1/2 and 3 1/2. And you'll have a really thick spine. Prioritize the amount of pages that you have, then you might want to do that. But I think this size is about right. I tested one out with just the 1/4 inch spine, and it was just not big enough for me. So I'm doing it at 2 3/4. But really what I'm doing is I'm going from 3, and I'm finding the dot on this side and scoring. And then finding the dot on this side and scoring. And then you mountain fold it like that. Then you have your cover, the base of your cover. Now I'm going to go ahead and decorate these. I have a couple of different ideas for different designs. So you're not going to be selling Cheerios at your craft fair, so you want to cover this up somehow. So there's a couple of different ways. Easiest way is you just paint it. So this has a layer of black and then gray and then blue. And you can get creative, do whatever colors you want. After you paint it, you could take napkins. So you probably have some napkins left over from like a party or something to cover up like this. And then this just gives you kind of like a base to start with. And like maybe you don't like the look, it kind of looks too napkin-y here, but I'll show you some ways to cover that up to make it look a little more fancier. Ribbon. So recently the Kmart close to us closed. Before they closed, they had like a big Christmas sale at like February of this year. So they had a whole bunch of ribbon and ornaments and stuff. So I'm going to be doing some with ribbon. Any sorts of paper. You can use greeting cards. You can just paste the greeting card on top of it. I have a bunch of like short ribbons that I can't use for much. It wouldn't be enough to like wrap a present with this, but I can use it for something like this. Tea bags. So I have a bunch of tea bags from when I dye paper, and it makes this nice color. So after you paint one, where's my painting one? There it is. After you paint one, you can put the tea bag on, and then it'll make this cool design, like this one here. This one I put a ribbon on the spine. I'll often do a base layer to kind of start it all off to cover everything up. While those dry, I'm going to move on to something else. Alright, so if you take one of the painted ones, you can cover it with something like a napkin or the tissue paper. So I'm going to do the tissue paper one here. I'm actually going to put tissue paper on the inside as well as the outside. And in this container here, if I can open it, I have some watered down Elmer's glue. I'll just spread that out. And it's okay if you do both sides because you can just do it right on this plastic sheet. This is a cereal bag. And I like to like wrinkle it first. So like I actually wrinkled it like that and opened it up. And then you can still see the wrinkles after it's put on like that. Then for the outside, I'm going to do the same thing. So you can see that there's some overhang of the tissue paper, so I'm just going to fold that up around. And then I have these two sheets. They're not quite going to cover the whole thing, so I'm going to leave a gap in the center, like that. Just enough so I can go back around and then put this around the edge on the inside. But before I do that, I want to place this down. I am going to put more adhesive there, but I just want to put it down so that it catches some of the glue that's on that side. Put some glue there and then pull this all around. And the reason why I like to pull them from one side or all the way around to the other is that so that's the easiest way for me to wrap the edges. So sometimes I don't do that and it comes out more like this and you can see the edges more there. So I prefer doing it like this so you can get a little bit more of a nice finished look. Attach this ribbon onto the outside here like this to make kind of like the spine. I did some other ribbons here like this. So you can use a lot of different kinds of ribbons. Here's another example of a different ribbon. This watered down glue is not going to be strong enough for that, so I'm going to just get some other glue. Aleene's tacky glue. And then you just attach it like that and then set it to dry. And I have my heater going. You probably can hear it, so I'm going to set it to dry in front of the heater. So I painted black and then like gray and blue kind of mixed together to get that kind of streaky look. So I just painted that. You can also paint the inside to clean that up, or you can just cover it with something. So I like how the blue looks with this red, so I'm going to do the same thing like I just did. I'm going to put some glue down and then put the fabric down. It will end up looking like this, except for in this one I put a piece of ribbon down the center. When I bind it, it'll be held on really nice and tight, and then you won't have that intersection. But on this one you can just see that like I got some of the red to go into the center of the spine, and that is perfectly fine. And then you just take your scissors and you trim off all the excess, and you have your cover with the inner cover. Well, one way you can line the inside covers of some of these covers, you can just get some cardstock. So I have some Christmassy cardstock here. I'm probably going to use these Christmas trees, pine cones of pine needles. So I'm going to cut this at exactly 4. And I'm actually going to use these for the inside cover and the inside spine. But we probably want slightly less space so that when you close it, it doesn't like buckle and fold up on each other. The inside spine, it's important that it fits in between, and if it's exactly a ½ inch, it's going to be too big to fit. And then it's okay if these like go off the edge a little bit. You can always trim it if it goes too far. If it's like hanging out like that, you can always just trim that off. So I'm going to do probably a little bit over 2.75 for the next ones. This is not going to fit, so I'm probably going to have to end up trimming that. There's 2.75. Wait, there's 2.5. There's 2.75. I'm going to go a little bit over that. 2 3/4, and then a little bit over that. And hopefully these will fit a little bit better. These are the size strips that I have, so you can see they're a little bit smaller. And then when I go in to glue that in, it'll fit a little bit better. So here's one that has a napkin. I just glued the napkin on top of the painted one, and then to make it look a little bit less like a napkin, a little bit more like it's meant to be something a little bit fancier, I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm going to attach it like this. Put a little bit on just the edge here. So in this one I took the paper, the cardstock, and I just cut it into the exact placement that it can go in there. So then you just take the little skinny one in the spine, you put it down the center. It's okay if these don't match up perfectly, because when you close it like that, you want to make sure there's that little space so that it can clear each other. You don't have to like do any special calculations for how much space you need. Just close it and make sure it closes to the shape that you want, and then it will make the exact right amount of space that you need. So then really get that down, and then as you can see, as you did that and created that space in between, it pushed it out a little bit here. So if you like that, that's fine. If you want to trim that, you can trim that. Another option you have to glue on is the tea bags. So tea bags are a little bit transparent, so you want to make sure that you do at least paint it a little bit, or else it'll still look like a cereal box. But even you can see that there's still some words that you can kind of make out. That's totally fine, because the tea bag will obscure it enough. Same thing with these. You can also like really crumple them up and get a really good amount of wrinkles in them. So I'm also putting the glue on the outside to keep it together, and then I'm just going to flip it and get the inside done also. Get it all wrapped up and then just leave it to dry. And if I leave it on this paper here, it will easily peel up even with the glue. So I just kind of fold in the corners there, so it's not too bulky. Or that's not really why I fold in the corners. I fold in the corners so there's no extra fabric hanging out. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Alright, so here is one that has the tea bags on the outside that I have done from before. And I am going to put the felt, and then I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and put it on the inside of the spine so that I have kind of a nice finish there. So I like to put the spine first, then the felt on top. Like before, it's totally okay if you have excess. You can just trim that at this stage. And there, that one's done. So there's the front cover and there's the inside. It will have a signature here, but you still will be able to see that ribbon in between some of the pages and stuff. This is another way to put a napkin on. Or not another way, just another idea for napkins is sometimes napkins have designs. So you can actually utilize the design in your kind of collaging. So that's just another idea. That's not actually how I ended up doing that. I'm actually going to use glue stick to glue this bad boy on. The napkins stick pretty easily with glue stick. Whoops. Whoopsie. Didn't really work out the way that I thought it might with the certain color of paints that I use. So you can't see the stars very well. So I went ahead and upgraded these to be more glitzy. So I do like the white background of the glitter ribbon. Cut your ribbon longer than your book cover is, because you want to be able to fold it over like that. Then you just cut at a 45 around the edges, just like that. This is going to be covered, so it's okay if this part's a little bit messy and it doesn't look that good, because it's going to be completely covered in the next step. You just fold it over like that. Make sure that you push everything down so that it stays in the right place. And then I like to put it flat against the plastic there and then let it dry like that. So I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to switch to one that is already dry. So you can see after I let it dry, some of the glue is kind of coming off, but that's what it looks like. Dazzling. So then you can choose what you want to put on the inside. So I'm going to put the strip of red because it kind of reminds me of like a snowman scarf. So you can use double-sided tape for some things. Especially utilize the double-sided tape here in the spine because I'm also going to be stitching it when I put the signature in. So I'm a little bit less scared about it coming unglued or unstuck later on. So I'm just going to lie that down like that. Double-sided tape is great because your hands don't get a mess like this when you're using glue. And then I'm going to take these and just place them like that. And that's going to be the inside cover of these. Some pieces of ribbon will still be able to see the outside of it, the outside part of this, and you'll still be able to see the white. So now you can really get the idea that it's like a snowman with a scarf. This is wired ribbon, so I utilize the wire to make sure that the edge is nice and finished looking. Also, when you do this, it makes sure that the wire is not exposed so nobody gets poked, it doesn't get stuck in the tree or anything like that. I'm going to use just this regular glue. If you have fabric glue, that would be a great one to use now. But because this ribbon kind of has like a plasticky ribbon on the inside, I think glue that you use for paper is totally adequate. You want to make sure that this clears when you close it because it has like all this the wire and the trim and stuff. You want to make sure that that all fits when you close the book, because you don't want it to be like wanting to open the whole time it's on your tree. You want it to look nice. Alright, so I think this is the last one that I have, so I will just show a quick lineup. Check back soon when I have the video up to do the inside part, or the signatures. That's going to be a fairly simple one because I want to keep these as simple as possible so that the owners, the people who end up buying the journals, they have a chance to really decorate it themselves and put their own twist on things. But stay tuned for that video because that will be coming up soon. And then I will probably be decorating a couple myself. That will be kind of fun to see how you can use these. So here is a finished one, a finished cover. I know I should I should wash my hands and then come back, but I'm lazy right now. So here are some finished covers of the glitzy one, which is kind of like the snowman look on the inside. And you can, if you look real hard, you can see some stars in there. So I think that's a nice little touch. And then it's nice and sparkly, and which is perfect to put on a tree. The blue ones that have the red on the inside. The maroon ones that have the ribbon. So this is the tissue paper technique that has the ribbon for the spine there. The napkin with the ribbon going across that has the cardstock on the inside, the Christmas theme cardstock. So there's lots of, you can do any kind of combination that you want. Then this is the tea bag technique. Also has a ribbon on the spine. It has the ribbon on the inside as well. And then the felt. Any combination of all of that to make your covers go from sad Cheerios boxes to something looking really nice. I'll be filling these books soon, so check back for those videos, and I will see you soon. Bye!